Well, I think we could probably start get going. So, thank you everybody for being here. We got some people rolling in, but we've got a good group. So, I think getting started would be worthwhile. Julia, do you want to do roll call?
Yes. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the meeting. So I'd like to remind everyone that this meeting is being recorded, and we ask that you please rename your Zoom name to your full name and the organization that you are with. And if you're a resident, please just put the letter R. And so for roll call, I'm just going to go down the list as it appears on my screen. And when I call on your name, if you can please unmute and then say which organization you're with. So first up, we have Chuck.
Chuck DeYoung with Ace Shea Baker.
Thank you. Welcome. Then we've got Stephen.
Hi, Stephen Bender, Compliance First.
Thank you. Welcome. And we have Barbara.
Barbara Berrigan, Perea Restore the Delta.
Thank you. Then we have Espy.
Esperanza Vielma with Environmental Justice Coalition for Water.
Thank you. Then we have Kyle.
Hey everybody, I'm Kyle Goff. I'm with the California Air Resources Board.
Thank you. Welcome. And then we have Mariah.
Hi, Mariah Looney with Restore the Delta.
Thank you. And we've got just one moment, please. Then we have Mark.
Hi, everyone. Mark Rasmussen with the San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District.
Thank you. Welcome. And Matthew Hansen. Thank you. Welcome. It looks like Matthew's with the EPA. Then we have Michelle.
Hi, Michelle Ratliff. I'm with Anchor QEA.
Thank you. Welcome. And then we have Randall.
Hi, Randall Pasick, Starcrest Consulting Group, consulting for the Port of Stockton.
Thank you. Welcome. And Margot.
Hi, I'm Margot Prowse. I'm a resident and part of the AB 617 steering committee and chair of the local Sierra group.
Welcome. And then Sean Ross.
Yeah, hi, Sean Ross, Yara North America.
Thank you. Welcome. And then I will be introducing Port staff or Port of Stockton. So we've got Port Commissioner David Atwater, Port Director Kirk DeJesus, Jason Cashman, our regulatory and public or environmental and regulatory affairs manager. Then we have Paula O'Keefe, our Director of Finance and Accounting, and Jeff Wingfield, Deputy Port Director of Regulatory and Public Affairs, Victoria Lucero, Public Affairs Coordinator, and Karen Romero and myself from the Regulatory and Public Affairs. And so with that, I'll turn it back over to you. Thank you, everybody.
Great. Thanks, Julia. We've got a really good agenda for today. We've got our tenant spotlight, which is going to be Yara. We're really excited about. They've been a long-term tenant, both on the liquid bulk and dry bulk and bag side for fertilizer. So we're excited to hear about things that they're up to. And then, in the past, Mary Elizabeth has asked about, how we do inspections, whether it's dust or stormwater. And so we've asked Stephen Bender from Compliance First, who's a contractor to the port, to be here and kind of walk through a day in the life of a compliance officer out here at the port. Just to give a couple quick highlights and updates as to what we've got going on. I've been pushing our tenant jobs board for quite a while. There was a time where people would call up or reach out to the Port of Stockton administrative staff, and we've got 120 jobs here at the port, but then our tenants, more than 130 tenants, supporting over 10,000 jobs. There's a much bigger pool there to be able to access. And so what we've created is a live jobs board for our tenants to come and they can post jobs. We're asking the community to come and post information there about, put their resumes or contact information. And I'm excited to announce that we've had 2 job offers that were made through the jobs board. So that's a huge success. We're going to continue to push this both with our tenants and with the community. So we'd also ask you to send folks to our website, to the jobs board, to sign up, to look for different employment opportunities here at the port. Any questions on the jobs board from anybody? All right. Some of you may know Sophia Canela Torres from Rising Sun. She sent out, she works with youth who are kind of helping homeowners make efficiencies in their homes, and they're also interested in job opportunities. And so what we have about 8 students, maybe 7 students from her group came out. We gave them a great tour, showed them different opportunities, kind of all the background stuff the port has done. And so that was really successful. I don't know if Sophia's here to follow up on that, but if so, please speak out. And I just include and ask anyone who is interested in a tour to reach out to us. We're happy to provide that, and look forward to having you come out to the port. Washington Elementary, everybody's back to school, so we're doing a back to school clothing drive for Washington Elementary. Our tenants we're reaching out to them as well. They've rallied and been really helpful on helping to support, whether it's with backpacks or different clothing needs there. So we'll be having bins set up around the port to be able to accept donations for gently used clothes and new shoes. So really excited about that. We'll have our coastal cleanup. The port will be a captain for coastal cleanup. That'll be on September 23rd. In the past, Margot, we've kind of combined forces on certain things. We may be looking to do that again here in the future. So if you're interested, SB as well, in partnering, please reach out to Julia or myself or Victoria, and we will be happy to work with you to organize the coastal cleanup effort.
Are you talking separate from the 23rd? Or are you talking additional?
No. Right now, I'm just talking about the 23rd, but okay. We're always open to additional opportunities outside of the formal coastal cleanup day.
Okay, yeah, we'll connect. We are hosting it again at the same place.
Okay, you're going to be out at near
Pacific,
UOP.
Pacific, yeah, Pacific and Calaveras River. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, join one of our groups to come out and help clean up trash and litter from our waterways. I'm really excited. We did submit a grant opportunity for rail, which a lot of you helped support. So thank you very much for those support letters. The port did receive $45.9 million from the California State Transportation Agency. That funding was specific to improving ports infrastructure. And so we competed very well and got funding for our bridge, a bridge replacement, as well as double track. So it'll really help our efficiencies as far as rail goes. Okay, and then the only other thing, well, 2 other things. We're also working with San Joaquin A+. We're trying to figure out how we can help and support the workforce development efforts here in Stockton. So one of the recent opportunities that came through was to partner with San Joaquin A+. And so this week, I think it's tomorrow, we're meeting with some of our tenants and San Joaquin A+ to kind of go through. They're going to set up some information that we can send out to our tenants, so our tenants can provide feedback as to what they're looking for as far as different opportunities in their young people and different experiences, so we can really prepare some young folks to come out of school and be ready to hit the ground and working in transportation and goods movement jobs. So I'm really hopeful on that. We're also working with Taylor Williams and the AB 617 group on developing another workforce development opportunity, really focused on mechanic jobs for clean zero emission vehicles and zero emission cargo handling equipment. So we'll be following up and further development on that as well. And I think I've been talking to this group about a new truck access for the East Complex. I think that everyone's well aware that some of the trucks are going through the Boggs Track neighborhood. We have had some of our engineering folks work on putting together kind of a scope and figuring out how we can go after grant funding and put money to really realigning the truck access to avoid going down Fresno, which is an active truck route, and rerouting through the port and cutting onto the west side of Boggs Tract going into our restricted area. So any questions on any of those? Okay, and the only other thing that we were working on was potentially doing in-person meetings. We would love to do that with this group in the not too distant future. We're trying to figure out ways so we'll probably send out a survey and figure out if we would lose a group. I don't know if the Air District could make it from the Fresno area or CARB could make it from Sacramento, etc. So if we're going to do a hybrid Zoom type in-person, that provides a few little challenges for us. So we'll send out a survey to see who's interested in coming and meeting in person, because I think it is a lot more impactful. I think that when we met as a group at the end of the AB 617 COVID process, that was a lot more impactful to get together kind of in person and share information. So we'll be sending that information out as well. Are there any questions from the group at all?
Yeah, I had my hand up, Jeff.
Oh, sure.
It was a good update. Thank you. I have a question for you. Your contract person who was working on HABs went to work for GWR. We're actually doing genetic testing with them. Is that work continuing with you at all?
Yes. I had a meeting with them last month. So we are looking for opportunities to continue those efforts. And I think DWR has given her freedom to continue that work. And so our plan is to set up a contract to be able to continue that work moving forward.
Okay. At some point we should maybe have a coordinated meeting, because we're doing contract work for them. We have a lot of research that we've actually done this year, because we haven't had a plethora of HABs, because flow's been 10 times what they normally are. Just some limited ones on the other side of the Delta. But we have some really specific programs that we are considering for mitigation for when we go back to the dry times. So it would be good if we could stay in contact, please.
Sure. Yeah, I can set something up in the next month to meet all together. Would that work?
That would work. That would be good.
Perfect.
Thank you.
You bet. Is there any other hands? Any other questions? Okay. If not, we'll move into our tenant spotlight this month, which is Yara North America. They've been a long-time tenant here at the port. As I mentioned, they import a lot of the fertilizers that are used in the Central Valley. And so Sean Ross is going to share a little bit of information about what they've been up to and some of their environmental measures and exciting opportunities that they're bringing to Stockton. Thanks, Sean.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for having me. And can you see my screen? Is it in presentation mode?
Yes, we can see it's perfect.
All right, great. Well, thanks for having me and allowing me the opportunity to share some of the updates that we've been doing in the Stockton area. And you know, it's been real nice. Our international Oslo parent company has been extremely engaged with our sustainability efforts. What we're doing right now in the port is, some of you already know, is we're getting into the solar project for Stockton Liquid site. And part of that effort is, or part of Yara's goal is by 2030 to have 30% absolute reduction in scope 1 and 2 greenhouse gas emissions. And then our ultimate goal is to become climate neutral and nature positive by 2050. So we're kicking off this project, the solar project. It's the first solar project that Yara has undertaken. And we've chosen to do it at the Stockton Liquid Terminal for quite a few reasons. This picture here is just kind of a mock-up from the locations that we're going to be adding the solar. What you can see there is panels on the new building, as well as a future carport with that'll be completely laced up with panels. So why are we doing it in Stockton? As you all know, it's probably pretty obvious that California, especially the Central Valley, is one of the best in the U.S. And so it's kind of a no-brainer that this area would be a perfect candidate. So California leading all states in solar. And, as California's initiative, we're all calibrated and aligned in that. So with our site, we have no shade. So it's kind of the perfect opportunity to put as many panels as possible, which my goal after this kicks off is to, then attack Stockton Dry, because we have two giant buildings there that we can really capitalize off of. Plus the fact that Stockton Dry uses much more power than Stockton Liquid. But, there's a considerable amount of roof space that we can utilize. The excess energy is going to be going back to the grid that will be credited from PG&E. We're going to be utilizing this as well for plug-in hybrids and electric vehicles. And then at a later date, we could look at battery capacity, to bring redundancy to our grid, because as you all know, our electrical grid is ever so reliable. Mm-hmm. So, and then internally, we'll be managing the project with our own HES department, as we've had, projects in the past with building this new site and relying on external engineering firms and project management. No one cares like you do. No one sees what you see. And, we found ourselves constantly managing the safety manager for the project manager doing the projects. And so we're now just eliminating outsourcing the safety management of it, and we're doing it in-house. The new building that we just got done commissioning is already efficient with motion sensing LEDs, high hour value energy efficient building insulation, low flow motion sensor and water fixtures, and all of the sustainable items that we would want in a new facility. Including the fact that our employees are already driving hybrid electrical vehicles. It's going to be a huge benefit. And the xeriscape to landscaping that we have to eliminate the need for irrigation water usage. So with the addition of solar and and electrical, which is what we're pushing for, possibly first of its kind. So,
sorry, Sean, I think you cut out just a little bit. Can you just repeat that last part about?
Oh yeah, so our goal here is to also obtain LEED Green Building certification, and so that this will help us obtain that level, which would be a first of its kind for Yara. So we have really good, we've done our homework with PG&E and the tax credits and everything. And our 88.5 kilowatt solar system would produce, 130,000 kilowatts per year, meeting the annual energy needs. PG&E offers a net energy metering program that lets us earn credits on our bill for the excess solar energy created. And really the ROI from this is 4 or less years. This system would essentially eliminate an estimated 65.7 thousand pounds of CO2 annual, or equivalent to 36 acres of U.S. forest per year of carbon sequestration. The incredible incentives currently that would reduce the cost is up to 60% of the overall investment, like the federal tax credit, state tax credit, PG&E electrical utility provider rebates, the San Joaquin County rebates and credits, and the city Stockton incentives. We're hoping to have this project completed by fall, which we've just gone through the contracts. Everything's on order, and we're ramping up for mobilization pretty soon here. So that's currently where we're at with the solar project. What we're hoping to gain out of that, above and beyond what was already mentioned, is the ability to, provide charging stations for our employees, as well as for our truck drivers. We think it'd be a good offer for truck drivers, especially in California, how they're going to be mandated to go to electric trucks over the coming years, providing them outlets to hook up to while they're loading. So that's pretty much it for the solar project that we have in Stockton right now. We've been working on it, doing our research and quoting out the right company, the right coverage, and what we're going to get out of this for the last year. And we're finally at the execution phase. So it's pretty exciting, and it's the first of its time. After this kicks off, we're gonna learn from everything that we didn't think of potentially as this project executes, and then this trial will be reviewed, and the next phase will be implemented, which will be looking at our larger facilities like Stockton Dries over on Rough and Ready Island.
That's great.
Any questions about the solar project?
Yeah, just so folks know, there's a few different sites for Yara on the port. There's the smaller liquid terminal that's fairly new that Sean's talking about and highlighting here. There's a dry bulk facility over near Dock 14. It kind of they've taken and refurbished one of our larger warehouses. That's where he's talking about having the capability to do a lot more solar. But Sean, this is a great example for us to utilize with other tenants as they continue to develop. And no, that's a great program.
Thank you. Yeah, and it was a little I'm not gonna lie, it was a little painful going into this process, knowing that I had two humongous buildings that would really benefit out of solar before Stockton Liquid. But we wanted to start the right way, take our time, do it the right way, learn from it before we get into a bigger project like a 200 by 600 foot building that is Luce Avenue 312.
Yeah, and that's great that you provide opportunity for your employees to charge too during the day. That is really good.
Yeah, that's the goal, and I mean, it'll be exciting to have the truck drivers being able to do it, and just trying to make it easy. I mean, the building the new facility on the corner of Washington and Navy was a huge improvement to our overall situation in general, because it took a lot of trucks off the street, and that was important for just the traffic safety. And now to be able to provide charging stations for them while they're waiting would be another big benefit for them. I think we have a couple questions.
Yeah,
Willie.
I can go. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool, thank you. Thank you for the presentation. Jeff, maybe these questions might be for you. So first of all, the first question is, has this kind of blueprint or approach been shared with other tenants who are considering something like this? Or, and then also, was this considered in part of the electrification blueprint for the Port of Stockton? And then the second question I have is, Jeff, like, how do we, it seems like the tenants and the corporations that are these tenants can move faster and have more of the financial means to implement a lot of these things, rather than kind of, I know the port is a little bit limited in budget and time frame, but these corporations, it obviously impacts their bottom line. So I'm kind of curious, like, to what point do we reconcile like making improvements and letting the tenants do it versus like the port being the leader in executing these solar or electrification improvements?
Yeah, happy to answer that. So I'll answer your first question. That is, has this been shared with other tenants? Just through our own getting out there and promoting the blueprint that we're just actually finishing right now. So no, I don't know if Sean has shared this with other, companies here at the port, but I would say that, we will utilize, Yara as an example to other tenants moving forward. That's for sure. So to answer your second question about whether or not the port can move quicker versus the tenants. So the tenants are responsible for anything that happens on their leasehold. So what we try to provide is the roads, the berths, some of the equipment to offload the ships. But when it gets into the own operations within a leasehold, the port can only dictate so much through our leases, which happen at the beginning of the tenant's operation here at the port. So while we continue to push, and we've got some tenants here today, and we're reaching out to them, offering them incentives or offering them opportunities to potentially partner on grants or to introduce them to EV manufacturers, whether that's trucks or cargo handling equipment. We are push. That's where we really push, Willie, if that answers your question.
Yeah, I have a follow-up, but if somebody else wants to ask a question.
Sure. Was there anything else from the port staff that I may have missed out on there?
No, I think you got it covered, Jeff.
Okay. Margot?
Yeah, hi. Thanks for the presentation. I appreciate your enthusiasm with how you presented it. And there's just so much there. I was just curious, the heavy duty truck charging, do you have a timeline for that? Will it be used for your company in particular, or is it like open to others, and is it collaborating with other sites on the port? I was just curious how you're handling that. And I have a question as to like how long does it take for a normal EV truck to charge?
So yeah, what we're doing right now is once we have it built, we're currently doing the research for the type of charging stations that we want based on the new electric trucks that are out there, and we're factoring that those will be coming into play late next year. Initially, we don't have our own trucking, so we do book trucks for transfers to other third-party facilities or other facilities, but otherwise our customers book their own trucks or have their own trucking. So it would really just be a courtesy to our customers.
Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, Willie, your next question?
Yeah, sure. From a Yara perspective, what are some of the Port of Stockton, I guess, tools, services that you could see needing improvement in terms of like a renewable or sustainable perspective, given that the facility for the most part is kind of powered on itself. Is like, what are the dependencies on, what does Yara depend on the port on, that could be improved from like a solar or renewable energy perspective?
I'd say that the port and Yara are pretty calibrated and aligned with what our goals are. The only thing that we've had issues with in the past was the grid itself, the power grid itself, and it constantly going down over the weekend or at nights. And this will help eventually with the addition of the batteries. This will help stabilize that. So our flow meters aren't getting reset and things of that nature. But as far as support from the port side, we've had pretty good synergy, and there really hasn't been much of a need outside of what we've been working on.
Cool. Thank you.
Sean, what's a little bit of the timing for this project? When do you guys think you're going to break ground, or have you already broken ground, and when will you complete it?
Our goal is by the end of by the end of we say fall, but we're approaching that quite quickly. But that is our goal by the end of fall, is for completion. So we're hoping to break ground next month.
Oh, quick. Okay.
Yeah, it's been, contracts got completed about a month and a half ago, and you know how the contract portion goes. So that took quite a while, but the previous year has been spent into the planning and negotiating and making sure that we dot all of our I's and cross our T's. I mean, we've already done the HAZOP and everything for it, so we're pretty prepared.
That's great. Well, if you guys want to come over and see any of the charging infrastructure that we've installed, feel free to reach out, and we're happy to kind of show you kind of what we've done so far.
That would be great. Yes, I would definitely like that once we get to the point for the truck and the car charging. Then I'll bring that back to the project manager.
Perfect.
Thank you.
All right.
So had just a couple other smaller updates, kind of pale in comparison to this one, but with the new site, we did implement pneumatic load arms, which has improved the ergonomics for the truck drivers. So that's been a nice improvement. The only other ones that we've had pneumatic are in Baltimore, so it was a little bit of a learning experience. The new piping that they installed is quite massive, so it wasn't really feasible to have the truck drivers pulling those arms up and down, which is why we went pneumatic. So that was a nice little safety upgrade. And then in Stockton Dry, we're working with Holt and Toyota, trialing different EV forklifts. So we have our fleet of forklifts that are coming due at the end of the year for replacement. This will eliminate the propane fleet and change those over to electric. And we have two finalists, which is the Heister and then the Hengcha, which is the Hengcha is also a lithium ion battery, which, as you know, is far better than the standard lead acids. And the reason they can stay comparable or comparable in pricing to a standard battery unit is the fact that they are this company that Toyota is teamed up with have a good relationship, or a very close relationship with the mines where they're getting the raw materials for the batteries. Because that was my first question, is why is a lithium ion lift costing just as much, if not less, than an EV lift? So we've been trialing them out, and surprisingly they've worked very well. The warranties are pretty decent. Something that we want to give a lot of thought into, because I mean, I've used electric in the past, but with everything moving forward with electric, getting into 5-year leases or 4-year leases on brand new equipment, we want to make sure that we don't run into any kind of issues with production or just units that aren't up to our needs. So we're going to be implementing those by the end of this year, and then by the end of 2025, we'll have replaced our diesel fleets with electric as well. And we're looking into, with Holt at least, the EV fleet program through PG&E. So now with safety, we're trialing a new wearable unit called Rombit at the Stockton Dry location. So Rombit is basically, it consists of a wearable that you're wearing around your wrist that's sending a signal via GPS, and can be used for a number of different applications. And I'll get into that here in a second. So, sorry. So first we have collision avoidance. So it has anchor units that goes on our forklifts, our front end loaders, and then we have our wearable units that all of our team is wearing. And so what it sets up is a certain radius around the unit that is a warning and a danger zone. So 2 different zones, and the person wearing the wearable gets a different type of alert based on what zone they are in, as well as the person driving the forklift. There's a and also the collision avoidance also has dynamic range as well, where the faster they're driving, the further out the range goes. Lone worker, which is real nice. So you can do an SOS function if you're in trouble. There's shock. So if there's a hard shock, we'll get an alert if the shock isn't disengaged after so many seconds. Or a worker down function, which is where somebody has a shock and then there's no movement for a certain amount of seconds. It sends an alert. We get the location, search and rescue. There's also evacuation management, so we can send an alert out to the team for evacuation, and also set up the location for the muster point and geofencing, as well as danger zones to avoid based on the emergency, which is also nice for if we're also doing just general work around the facility. Like if I have a pit open that, I have my physical and invisible barriers, but now I can go one step further and create that as a danger zone. So the second they come into a specific proximity of that area, they start getting alerted on their wearable. And then in our lovely COVID times, you have social and physical distancing that you can turn on as well. So if we have a case that we need to, keep everyone separated and do contact tracing or what have you, we can engage this function. So with how did that get in there?
Sean, what size are your diesel forklifts?
We have a cat. We have 2 cats. One is a 12,000 pound, and then one is an 8,000 pound. Why is it doing that? 1 second. That's weird. It's not showing the video. That is weird. Yeah. All right. Love technology. So
that's all right. No, it's fascinating. I mean, you have a pretty high tech. Oh, there you go.
The lone worker, you can set up your alerts. You can set it up to get a phone call or text or both. Then you can go directly onto the website and pull up their location. And it's only tracking people once they actually do the SOS or the worker down function. This isn't Big Brother. we're not tracking people 24/7. It's only in an emergency situation.
Got it.
So yeah, so this is the lone worker, and then we have the evacuation management, which again is I think is one of the more useful, like the the distance from the forklifts and the front end loaders and basically the collision avoidance. This is probably one of the other most important functions, is being able to get an evacuation alert to our team in a timely manner and provide them the ability to get to the right place and avoid any kind of danger. And then the social and physical distancing, which I think we don't really need to get into there. Any questions about Rhombit? We're trialing it at our Tampa ammonia location and Stockton dry location right now. By the end of the year, we're going to meet, and well, we're meeting monthly as it is, but we're going to meet, review the benefits, the pros, cons, and then discuss implementing at all facilities from there on. Right now, we're still fine-tuning the shocks because, as you could probably understand, it started off a little bit light where people closing the microwave door was setting off a shock. So we're fine-tuning the algorithms there as well as the GPS, because Rhombit, unlike Google, they don't have the big money satellites for a very accurate GPS. So we're still fine-tuning and adding some anchors in certain locations to boost signal. And then finally, we're just, I come from a big Lean Six Sigma background. And since joining Yara about 6 years ago, it was a very nice feeling that they've embraced the Lean methodology so much. In the beginning, they were really just scratching the surface with 5S and, just organizational practices. And now we're getting more into operational excellence as a whole. We have a operational excellence department now in our U.S. As well as the rest of the company across the pond, and we're dipping into a little bit more than just the 5S, which is kind of like your foundation for Lean. But now we're getting into the 8 wastes of Lean. We're performing A3s. We're doing, the 5 Whys, which we're incorporating into our CMMS program, fishbone techniques, and just, really embracing the Lean methodology to make us as efficient as possible, eliminate waste, keep nurturing a good culture of safety and engagement with the team, and getting everyone to understand why this benefits them, not only professionally, but personally. And so that's been really exciting for me because, again, that's a lot of my background is process improvement and Lean methodology. So it's been real exciting. And in fact, next week we're doing LCS 1B training in San Diego. We're doing real life A3 problem solving projects that we've chosen for the week, and I'm going to be doing it on a regular basis moving forward, setting up KPIs for all the facility managers and just getting everyone engaged into Lean so we can continue our journey. And that's all I got from Yara.
Well, that is great. No, thank you so much, Sean. That's, we got great information about your upgrades and the improvements you guys are making and all the environmental efforts, as well as a bonus safety information. So thank you so much. If no one has any other questions, we'll just say thanks to Sean and appreciate you. And maybe as you guys make improvements and get a little further down the road, then you can come back and give us an update.
Most definitely. I'd love to.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Okay, I forgot to mention earlier. We get a lot of questions about kind of where we are with our emission inventories all the time. I've asked Randall, instead of just providing one to me, that he comes to the group and provide an update on kind of the emission inventory for 2022. We've done, what have we done now, Randall? We've done 2018, 2020, and now 2022.
Right, we're on the every other year plan, which is I think more than adequate for now. Hello everyone. Thanks for inviting me to talk. I do not have any slides. We are just in the process of collecting data for the inventory. Just as a quick reminder, we inventory the mobile sources associated with the operations at the port. These include the ocean-going vessels, the harbor craft, the locomotives that pull any rail traffic through the ports, the trucks that visit the ports, and the cargo handling equipment that are used to move the cargo around through the port. And we've started the outreach for the truck, the truck thing, and Sean is still on. We tried to reach out to you guys, and I guess the contact we had there, email bounced, so I'd be appreciate. I don't know whether I can get your email or I can get it from the port to follow up and see if we can get a little bit of count on how many trucks visit your facility in 2022. That would be real helpful for us. And we've reached out to the Harborcraft folks, and the ocean-going vessel data is there. So timing on terms of when the inventory will be finishing up, we will finish up the data gathering around the middle or end of September. We'll hand it over to the internal groups, the specialists on different source categories, and should have the emissions numbers estimates calculated and generated last quarter of this year, and then draft report should probably be out sometime in January for review by the port and others, and then finalizing the report by March of next year. And that's kind of the schedule that we're on.
On the trucks, are you accounting for the increased use of renewable diesel fuel in those trucks and all your equipment?
We are actually, I don't want to say struggling. That's a good question. We're aware of it. It becomes kind of it's a shift change of how these inventories were used and generated. Typically, the inventories always look just at the tailpipe emissions. When you look about renewable diesel, you're looking more at the life cycle emissions in terms of the products that make the diesel actually they don't generate as much carbon dioxide because they absorb carbon dioxide as part of their life cycle. And so that's kind of a different way to do the inventories. The tools are available out there. There are some questions in terms of comparing apples to oranges. Strictly tailpipe emissions do not I want to say adequately is the wrong word. They don't represent the emissions of the life cycle emissions. And so short answer to the thing is, we're still looking at it. We're still trying to figure out what the best approach is to put these into these traditional inventories that we've been doing up to this point. And I know the other ports, we have a lot of other port clients who are also looking at this and trying to figure out the best way to do it. So probably for this inventory, it probably would not be in explicitly, but it might make sense for us to devote, say, another chapter to what are life cycle emissions, how do they affect the folks that are using renewable diesel, and to highlight the benefits associated with it, because it would really be a good story to get out there to say that indeed there are benefits and they should be recognized as part of this process. But it's not clear the best way to do that at this point. So for this round,
we're looking at a greenhouse gas emission reduction of 70 to 80%.
no, I agree. It depends on the which type of renewable diesel you use, et cetera. But those are the ranges you are. Yes, absolutely. But for this type of inventory, we're just looking typically or traditionally at the tailpipe emissions. That doesn't really tell the whole story. And so I do think that there's probably going to be an additional chapter or so that kind of describes those benefits. And it may not quantify them, but it'll certainly qualitatively describe what's being done and why it's important to mention it. So, like, for example, the Harborcraft rule requires Harborcrafts to use renewable diesel now. It starts this year. So those emission reductions should be as part of this inventory. It's just the question is, what's the best way to include them? And we'll be working with the ports to figure that out on what they would like or what we think is kind of the best approach, at least for this inventory and then for future ones as well.
Okay, are there any trends or anything you can share with us that you've seen either between 2018, 2020, or that I guess you're just at the beginning of 2022?
Yeah, 2022 is too soon, but I know we did see, the port has been looking at, and some of the cargo handling equipment has gone over to electric, and there has been some noticeable drops in emissions associated with that type of equipment. So the programs are working, and they are showing benefits, and almost immediate benefits there. And we expect that trend to continue as, for example, the renewable diesels and another one. But as Yara actually started looking at their electric, or going to zero or electric vehicle fleet, and other companies are doing the same thing, that trend will continue.
Jason and my team, I think we put our emission inventory on our website. Is that correct? Do you recall? I think Gloria asked in the chat about where she can access the Harborcraft and ship data. I believe that was the comment.
I'll go ahead and put a link to where it is on our website in the chat for everyone.
Perfect.
Thanks, Karen.
All right. Any other questions for Randall? Okay. Oh, Mariah.
Hi. I just wanted to double check that we should be expecting the 2022 emissions inventory in January.
The final one should be around March. I mean, we'll have a draft that's going to be circulated for internal review in January is the timing right now.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't see any other questions. Thank you very much, Randall, for the update, and look
My
forward
pleasure.
to. And if you have any other issues with tenant contacts, please feel free to reach out, and we'll provide an updated contact for you for sure.
Absolutely, appreciate it.
Okay. All right. Well, we had hoped to get to Steve Bender, who is going to talk about some of our daily activities. We're going to have to push that until next month. But we look forward to hearing from Steve. Thank you, Steve, for being here today. I also wanted to throw out there the opportunity for some of the environmental groups or the residents, if there were specific things that were on your agendas or ideas. So maybe we might do a few minutes each meeting to have you voice your concerns or things that you would like to see, or things that are important to your environmental group. So We're going to be testing that over the next couple months, and we'll be reaching out on that as well. So if there are any other questions, we will adjourn just a couple minutes early. Really thank everybody for being here, and Barbara will set up that meeting on the Habs to make sure we're connecting. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Oh, looks like Gloria. Yeah.
Go ahead, Gloria. You're on mute. Oh, she can't unmute. Can we unmute her? Julia?
It's only letting me ask to unmute her.
Oh, shoot. You want to put it in the chat, Gloria? Thank you, Matt. Thanks for joining. Wondering if there are any updates on Golden State Natural Resources Project. Yes, so we did have a brief meeting with them. They've gotten way ahead of the port. That's in short. We have not talked to them about any terms whatsoever. And so this project is really premature. We will follow up in the coming months, but yeah, there's really not any update other than they're out in front of it, and it's premature at this point. All right. Thank you all. We appreciate it. Have a great evening.
Thanks, Jeff. Good meeting.
Jeff, I just got in at the end. Would you please consider writing a formal letter as such for the record regarding the Golden State Project?
Providing kind of an official response as to where we are?
Yes, please.
I will have to check. You know, when
yeah,
I will look into that. I can't guarantee you because when we're in negotiations, but let me talk internally with our team. And also, Mary, I did see your email over the weekend. I will be providing a response. It's just been really busy the beginning of this week.
Hey, man, I'm with you, man.
Okay. Thank you so much. Appreciate your input and interest in the port.
And it looks like Willie. Do you have a question, Willie? Oh, maybe the hand's just raised.
Okay, well, I'll raise my hand and say bye-bye.
Thank you, Mary. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sorry. Can I, sorry, I know this is at the end. I know this is at the end. I just saw the article July 6, Newsom announces 1.5 billion in port infrastructure upgrades. Did we already talk about how that impacts the Port of Stockton?
Yes, I believe that's the same funding that I was referring earlier, the port funding. Yeah, the port got 45 million for rail improvements.
Was there like a document that outlines like the portion that goes to Port of Stockton and what that's going to be used for?
Yes, there is a press release on our website. That one of the things is a zero emission rail car mover. There's also, I can just tell you, it's for new rail access, a dual track bridge over the San Joaquin River, which is the one we have now is, was built in the 1930s. So it really needs to be upgraded. So it was for rail improvements.
Okay, gotcha. I'll take a look for the article on the website.
Yeah, and if there's any other questions, feel free to email or reach out.
Okay, cool.